Yeah, you can unmute one by one. You can unmute. Let me have a small introduction first. Anil, unmute for 1 second. Unmute. If from your end, if there is a noise, we will mute. Yeah,
Okay, sir.
better to mute because from network noise from you. Yeah, okay. Who are in traffic? Annapurna, you can unmute. Yeah, all of you, you can unmute. Who are right?
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Who are in like cool environment, no noise environment, you can unmute. Remaining people can mute. Venkat,
Hi, sir. Good morning.
yeah. Hi Venkat. Hi Swati. It seems there is a noise from your end also. Okay, let me start my session. Okay. Yeah, this is RN Reddy. I have 15 years experience in total IT industry. There I was good around 5 years into development and since 10 years, like 2009 onwards, I'm into training. So I've trained around 100 plus batches and 15,000 people in .NET platform. So today we are going to discuss about ASP.NET MVC. Going to discuss about ASP.NET MVC, and one or two people can unmute because little interaction required. Srinivas, you can unmute. Swati, you can unmute. Srinivas?
Yeah,
Hi,
sir.
Srinivas, are you from which place?
Hello.
Yeah, are you from Hyderabad or from where you are?
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm from Hyderabad, sir.
Hyderabad. Okay. Satya, what about you? Satya.
Yeah, hi. I'm from Dallas, US.
Satya, are you my old student?
No. This is the first time I'm taking.
Right, right. Okay, fine. No, no, no. In previous .NET batches, there was a girl called Satya. That's why I'm asking you.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
okay, no problem. Have you completed .NET classes already, Satya?
No, right now I'm doing my master's, so I wanted to go with .NET, so that's why I want
No,
to train in MVC.
my concern is, did you learn .NET already?
Yeah, I already have experience, like 3 years experience in .NET.
.NET. Okay, fine, fine.
Yes.
So now you are working in .NET, it seems, right?
No, right now I'm doing my master's. I already worked in Hyderabad,
In
so after
Hyderabad,
that I moved to US.
how many years you worked in .NET?
Like 2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay. So, okay, fine. You worked in ASP.NET or ASP.NET MVC?
No, only ASP.NET.
Okay, so you want to update MVC, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Monica. Hi, Monica.
Hi sir, good morning.
Good morning. Are you from?
I'm from Hyderabad only sir. I'm a present student learning C Sharp.NET and ASP.NET.
Okay, you are from which place?
I'm from Hyderabad only sir.
You know .NET, right?
Yes sir, present I'm learning.
Already you are learning .NET, right? Kranti.
Sir, good
Hi,
morning.
Kranti. Hi, Kranti.
Hi, sir.
So you are my student. I hope you are my ex.NET student, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Annapurna. Hi, Annapurna. Hi, Annapurna. Right. Hi, Giridhar. Hi. Giridhar, unmute. You can unmute if you want to talk. Otherwise, leave it. Srinivas. Yeah, okay, fine.
Hello. Yeah, sir.
It seems okay. Fine. Let me start my session. Listen here. Yeah, yeah. Satya, you can also mute. Better. Noise is coming. Sridhar, you can also. Better all of you guys mute. It seems a lot of noise is coming. Let me start my session. I had my introduction. Yeah. Today we are going to learn ASP.NET MVC. So most of the people will have a lot of doubts about MVC. To learn MVC, what are the prerequisites we required to learn MVC, ASP.NET MVC, not just MVC. What are the prerequisites required? Minimum, you should have strong knowledge in C#.NET. No doubt about that. Strong knowledge. You should have ASP.NET minimum knowledge. Minimum knowledge. Okay, so this, and you should have ADO.NET minimum knowledge. These three, if you have, really it will be good for to understand ASP.NET MVC. Suppose you're not trained in these areas, you have some little bit idea. You can do one thing. You can approach our team, Mr. Sai or Srinivas, regarding these three courses. These three already courses, video courses we have, online courses we have classroom training also. But with material they will provide to you. Because to understand ASP.NET MVC, there you will write the logic by using C#.NET, and most of the ASP.NET concepts will be there in MVC also. So that you need to have a knowledge, and as well as and ADO.NET also we will use in MVC. Right. Now in this training, what I am going to cover, syllabus. Yeah, I'll give you a brief pinpoints, not in detailed each and every point. Small, like minimum main headings I can explain. Introduction to ASP.NET MVC. Number 2, working with controls in ASP.NET MVC. Here we'll cover front end operations. Front end operations means we'll accept the data from the user. We'll perform some calculations in the front end. We'll display to the user. In the second part, it is not interacting with what? Database. In the third area, we are going to interact with database. Accessing database by using ADO.NET in ASP.NET MVC. Means here your ASP.NET MVC application is communicating the database called SQL Server. For that, we will use a data access object. We'll use, is my notepad is visible to all the people? Is my, anyone can respond. Is my notepad is visible to all the people?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
My voice is audible. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
My notepad font size is okay, or anything I have to change, like any size? Is it okay? You want to me increase the size of the
Yes,
font?
sir.
Is it enough, or can you want me to increase?
No, it's fine.
It's fine, right? Yeah. You will increase the size. What will happen at a time in the view? You can see only few lines. Okay, right. And one more thing is, might be most of the people about know about me and my style of training. In my training, it will have a lot of interaction. You should also support me. Suppose in your end you are in workplace or in traffic, you can mute yourself, and otherwise lot of interaction I required, because without interaction I cannot go ahead. And second important thing is, let us assume you don't know anything about .NET. You came for ASP.NET MVC. Even though you can understand, I'll make you like that, don't worry. But minimum prerequisite I was told, that is general discussion. You should have C# knowledge, you should have ASP.NET and so on. But even though without, a new person also can understand ASP.NET MVC, I'll make you like that. Okay. For that, to support you, we will share you the ASP.NET and C#.NET and ADO.NET videos. Recorded videos are available. Now, the fourth topic is accessing database by using link. Means here what we will do here, sorry, by using, let me tell you, link in ASP.NET MVC. So here, student, see here one important point is, a student here we don't require to explain about ADO.NET in the third topic, because already student will have a knowledge about ADO.NET at the time of ASP.NET. But here, link is a new concept, new data access object. That's why we will first explain about link, full detail. We'll perform so many basic operations. First, link to console application. Okay, next, link to ASP.NET application. Link to ASP.NET application. Next, right, somewhere noise is coming. You try to mute the person from where the noise is coming. Right, I think it seems Kranti. Right, now next we'll work with link to ASP.NET MVC. Okay, what is link? All these things I'll explain. Just I'm telling you the topics what I'm going to discuss. Next topic is accessing database by using entity framework in ASP.NET MVC. Accessing database by using entity framework in ASP.NET MVC. Here also will give you introduction to entity framework. Very popular in the market present. Entity framework is the latest data access object. Entity framework. Here also, first entity framework to ASP.NET applications. Next, entity framework to ASP.NET MVC. Now, sixth topic is advanced concepts in ASP.NET MVC. Here, a lot of topics like routing, filters, and everything will complete. 7. Master pages in ASP.NET MVC. So here we can say, you can understand here filters, routing, and so on. Next, master pages in ASP.NET MVC, and so on. Yeah, see, it's very difficult to describe about each and every individual topic, but as per my training, in any course I'll take, I'll give you the entire syllabus. If you want to skip me also, I cannot skip. That is my weakness. And last, we'll discuss interview questions. I'll give you 250 interview questions with answers in ASP.NET MVC. Okay, that book, on this book we will have a small discussion. Okay, last we'll work with one project by using ASP.NET MVC. One project means I'll just guide you. You have to work. I'll make you to work. Last 10th one is I'll give you resume building and how to attend interviews. How to attend interviews in India and USA as a fresher as a experienced. This is our total schedule. It will take approximate 40 hours. So initially we will have 1 hour. Later we'll change it to 1.5 hours. We are targeting to close this batch in 30 days. Let's keep 10 days as a buffer time. That's it. Okay. This is about what I want to tell you about today. Our total training plan. Okay. So yeah. Next, 1 second. Right. Let's slowly we'll enter into ASP.NET MVC. Small introduction. Right. Now, right. Is my screen is visible to you? Is my screen is visible to you guys?
No.
Don't worry. I only just switched off my screen for 2 seconds for small edit work. Okay. Right. Yes. Now you can see. Is my screen is visible to you? Now, is my screen is visible to you? Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Now, this is the material I'm going to share you. As part of this training, I'll give you 2 books. I'm planning 3rd book also, 2 books. First book is Step by Step ASP.NET MVC by R.N. Reddy. This book is in the market also. You will have detailed material, and you will have second book is ASP.NET MVC interview question bank. Okay, these 2 books I'm going to share to you. Okay, right. And right. Let me, before we are going to go with the technical discussion of MVC, let me give you the small generalized explanation about MVC. So most of the people will have a doubt, sir, what is ASP.NET? What is ASP.NET? And another question is, what is ASP.NET MVC? So first, let me correct the first question. Brother, it is not ASP.NET. It is called, actually it has to call ASP.NET Web Forms. But generally most of the people will call it as ASP.NET. It is not the name of ASP.NET. The name is ASP.NET Web Forms. And the latest one what we are going to learn is called ASP.NET MVC. Now, let's get the correct answer for what is ASP.NET Web Forms. Let me tell you. ASP.NET Web Forms, ASP.NET Web Forms. Anybody can answer what is ASP.NET Web Forms? Anyone? ASP.NET Web Forms is, brother, anybody? Annapurna can explain. Anybody? See here, the thing is, from your end, you have some disturbance. Please don't try to give the answer. It will spoil the entire session. And the session is getting recorded session will be sharing to the students. That's the reason we better to go with the quality videos to share that videos to the students. Okay, now, even though I'm stressing you to give a answer by asking your name, if your end you have noise, just in chat you can tell me, sir, I'm in traffic or noise is there. And in chat you can communicate me, like you can have an option called chat. In chat you can send a chat messages to me also. Right, anybody can answer what is ASP.NET Web Forms? Annapurna, you can answer. It seems you are trying to answer. Right. Yeah. Otherwise, Satya is there now. Satya, can you answer? Satya, two Satyas are same. Satya, Satya, two Satyas same.
No, mine is Satya Kattu.
Okay. Another Satya, Lavankula. Satya Lavankula. I think it's different person. Might be. Satya, yeah. Second Satya. Yeah. You can answer what is ASP.NET Web Forms. Can you try?
Uh, it is a web page where it will interact with the web server and it will display the controls to the user.
Okay, very good. Next, second Satya, can you answer? Satya Lavankula. Satya Lavankula. Can you answer? It's okay. Let me tell you. ASP.NET Web Forms is a .NET first web technology. First web technology. When .NET was introducing in .NET 1.0, Microsoft was introduced this web technology to develop web applications. So after that, Microsoft has introduced a new .NET web technology called ASP.NET MVC. ASP.NET MVC is a latest .NET web technology. Here also we can develop web applications, but in but by following MVC design pattern. So what is this? We have to understand. Sir, what is this MVC design pattern? Yes, that is only our training. Okay. So finally you understood one thing. ASP.NET Web Forms is the first .NET web technology. ASP.NET MVC is the latest .NET web technology. Simply you can say that ASP.NET Web Forms is the color box TV. ASP.NET MVC is the latest smart LED TV, LCD or LED smart TV. Okay, so that is the story. So everybody understood, right? Now let's enter into our actual subject. Let's go by one, and it is very step-by-step training. If you are a hurry also, I cannot go hurry. My style of training will be very slow. It is not Garuda bus, it is a red bus. Okay, I'll go like this only. Okay, right. Let's go for our introduction to ASP.NET MVC. In this introduction, first I am going to cover what is MVC. First we need to understand MVC, then we'll enter into ASP.NET MVC. Coming to introduction to topic, first is introduction to MVC. Okay, to understand ASP.NET MVC, we need to have the understanding about MVC. MVC stands for Model View Control. M stands for model, V stands for view, C stands for controller. Second, MVC is a design pattern, and here one important point you have to understand. 4 to 5 classes will go pure theory part, 3 to 5 approximate. In this theory part, we'll understand concepts of MVC, which includes lot of interview questions. I told to you around 250 interview questions I'll give you in MVC. 99% at the time of attending your interviews, the questions will come from this book. Among 250 questions, approximate 150 questions will be from this first 1 week syllabus. It's completely theory concept. Bit boring for student, bit boring for faculty, but I'll try my level best. Once this 1 week training is completed, we will enter into coding part. Once you will enter into coding part, every day you will enjoy. Most of the people will feel that ASP.NET MVC programming is very difficult and confusing. Really, the understanding of ASP.NET MVC development environment will be bit confused if you will compare with ASP.NET Web Forms. That will be only in the beginning, but once you will understand. But I'll make it is very simple. You don't worry about that. With my style of training, I'll make it is very simple. Once you will understand ASP.NET MVC, you people will say, I love ASP.NET MVC. I hate or I don't like ASP.NET Web Forms. It is lengthy coding. And here, coding part wise also, when you work with entity framework, you will write 2 lines code. Same code when you are working with ADO.NET, you will write 10 lines code. Similarly, when you are working with ASP.NET Web Forms, you will write 10 lines code. In MVC, you will write 4 lines code. So here, initially, when you are doing starting programming, 1 or 2 days bit difficult. But in my time, even though that 1 or 2 days also, you will not have any difficult. With my previous batch experiences, I'm telling you, my students will enjoy the ASP.NET MVC rather than ASP.NET Web Forms. Right. MVC stands for Model View Controller. M stands for model, V stands for view, C stands for controller. MVC is a design pattern used to develop applications. Means this is a design pattern we are using to develop web application. Means that it is a design pattern which is used to develop the applications. Not only web applications, MVC design pattern you can use to develop any type of application. MVC comes under architecture design pattern. There are various design patterns are there. Under that one category is architecture. Our MVC design pattern will come under this. Now coming to us, Microsoft is using MVC in ASP.NET. Here you have to remember one important point. MVC is not part of .NET. MVC is not part of Microsoft. It is a design pattern, third-party design pattern, and that Microsoft is using MVC in ASP.NET, which can be called as ASP.NET MVC. Means you have to remember one important point. Microsoft is using MVC to develop a web application by using ASP.NET. That's why that is called ASP.NET MVC. That's called ASP.NET MVC. Now coming to using ASP.NET MVC, what we can do, sir? Using ASP.NET MVC, already I was explained in the introduction. Using ASP.NET MVC, we can develop advanced web applications. Using ASP.NET Web Forms, we can develop traditional web applications. So here important point we have to remember is ASP.NET MVC is a next generation of ASP.NET Web Forms, but not next version of ASP.NET Web Forms. Most of the people will tell that ASP.NET MVC is a next version of ASP.NET Web Forms. No, which is called next generation, not next version. Okay, next version is different, next generation is different. ASP.NET Web Forms is one generation, ASP.NET MVC is another generation. For example, color box TV is one generation and smart TVs, LCDs is another generation, like that. You can understand this in this way with this diagram here. Normal phone, smartphone. Normal phone is the first generation, smartphone is the second generation. Smartphone is the second generation. Box TV is the first generation, LED smart TV is the next generation. Similarly, ASP.NET Web Forms is the first generation, ASP.NET MVC is the second generation. So here one important point we have to understand, that is, sir, here I have to explain one point here. That point is, for example, whenever we are using normal phone, talking about normal phone, you give to normal phone. Very simple point, I'll tell you. Normal mobile phone you have given to your daddy. You have given to your daddy. Are you clear? He is habituated with normal phone. Normal phone means like Nokia 1100 like that. And after couple of days, you have given smartphone to your daddy. So anybody can respond. What is the response from the father? A father who is not that much educated, like rural area or whoever it may be, elders like 60 plus people, even though they are educated. Anybody? Satya can respond, and I think from your end only there is no noise. That's why I'm able to ask the question to you. Simple discussion, Satya. You are given normal phone when you completed BTech after your first job in Hyderabad. You have given a normal phone to your daddy, and after you came to US, you are earning dollars. Now you have given a 50,000 rupees smartphone to your daddy. So, what was your daddy response? Just yeah.
He may face some difficulties while he is using smartphone.
Your father is using normal phone 10 years. After that, suddenly one day you are given smartphone. When you are given smartphone, normal phone is 2,000 rupees, smartphone is 20,000 rupees. And smartphone, when you have given immediate, what is his response? The day one. He is able to use?
No.
No. He was, while he using, is facing lot of difficulty. And after 1-2 days, even though you are explaining how to use, he will throw the smartphone. He will say, no, 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 my normal phone is better than this. Am I right or not?
Yes.
After couple of days, you are guiding. After 3 months of using smartphone, what is your father response? You told to your father, my smartphone is not working. Please give your smartphone. You use your old phone. What he will say?
He will say no because he will get habituated with the
Ah,
smartphone.
he is getting habituated with smartphone features. Similarly, ASP.NET MVC also in the beginning, it looks like a smartphone. Little clumsiness will be there. But after that, what will happen? What will happen? Once you are habituated with ASP.NET MVC, you will say ASP.NET MVC because it has so many features. Okay. So similarly, okay. Now coming to design pattern. I told you very clearly, MVC is a design pattern. First, let's understand 2 lines about what is design pattern. Then we'll go ahead technically. Design pattern is a well-defined solution for the problems that occur in software development in specific content. So, design pattern is a well-defined solution for the problems that occur in software development in specific content. Design pattern can be used by in any technology in any programming environment. Example, MVC design pattern is using in ASP.NET MVC technology. Singleton design pattern is using WCF technology. DAO design pattern is using data access object called DAO design pattern is using in a data access technology called ADO.NET. Where I told just now, ADO.NET link and entity framework. Let me give you the clarity about the 3 areas what I told you last 2 minutes back. I was told here in the syllabus law, I was explaining about here in the third topic I told ADO.NET. Fourth topic I told link. Fifth topic I told entity framework. There I was missing to give you the clarity. What is what? Let me tell you one line. ADO.NET link and entity framework are the data access technologies in .NET. Are the data access technologies in .NET means whenever your .NET application wants to communicate. Let me explain here. Whenever your .NET application wants to communicate databases, you require some data access technology like this. For example, you are developing a .NET application. This is your .NET application. I think are you able to see my diagram, all of you guys? Hello. Are you able to see my diagram?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. If this is your .NET application, here you will have a database. Here you will have a database, DB. This .NET application, whether it is a ASP.NET application or ASP.NET MVC application or console application or Windows Forms application or a web service, if it wants to communicate database, you require here data access technology. So there you can use first data access technology called ADO.NET, and you can use link data access technology. Here you can use entity framework data access technology. So finally we can say that to our .NET application wants to communicate database, we require some .NET data access technologies. First one is black and white TV, ADO.NET. Second one is box TV link, and LCD smart TVs entity framework latest one. Even though you remember one important point, entity framework is so hot in the market, link is not that much popular, but ADO.NET still, even though it is a box portable TV, black and white TV, but it is also using by the industry because most successful data access technology. But coming to ADO.NET to entity framework, only the difference is programmer task will be easy. Here you will write 10 lines code, here you will write 2 lines code. Very flexibility. So that is a story. So I hope I was given clarity about ADO.NET, where here we have seen one word about ADO.NET. That's why I was given explanation. So here important point you have to understand, in ADO.NET data access technology, they are following a design pattern called DAO. So with this we understood that a design pattern can be used in any technology, in any programming environment. Here MVC design pattern is using in a web technology called ASP.NET MVC, and a singleton design pattern is using in a web service technology called WCF. Let me tell you about WCF here. WCF stands for Windows Communication Foundation. It is a .NET web service technology. Using that we can develop a web services. Coming to WCF part, if you want to understand, .NET .NET first version web service technology is WCF, and after that latest web service technology is called Web API. Again I have to tell you about WCF and Web API. So WCF is the first version or first generation. WCF, web service technology. WCF stands for Windows Communication Foundation. Latest web service technology in .NET is Web API. You can say WCF is the box TV, and you can say Web API is smart TV. But before WCF, we have one more web service technology in .NET in the first version, that is XML web service technology. So totally in .NET platform, 3 web service technologies, 3 generations came. In starting versions up to from 1.0 to 2.0, XML web service technology people were using, and WCF web service technology came in the .NET 3.0, and Web APIs came very latest. So these 3. Okay, this will be the separate syllabus. WCF Web API, if you want to learn, that is separate batch we are planning to develop web services. Now come back to our discussion. We understood here singleton design pattern is using in WCF, and WCF is a .NET web service technology. Now let's understand what is MVC design pattern, actual topic. Now we are entering into actual topic. Up to that we understood what we understood. MVC stands for model view control. MVC is a design pattern. MVC is a design pattern which is using in ASP.NET MVC applications. Okay, ASP.NET MVC technology. Now we are going to understand about ASP.NET MVC. What is ASP.NET? Sorry, what is MVC design pattern? Let's understand what is MVC design pattern. Right. Here, very important discussion is this. If you will understand this, you can answer for the basic level questions in ASP.NET MVC. What is this? Let me increase the size here a bit. Right. Now, what is MVC design pattern? In MVC design pattern, Babu, try to understand, application development process will be splitting into three parts, three modules. Means whenever you are developing an application by using this MVC design pattern, that process will be divided into three modules. First one is module, M stands for module. Second one is view, and third one is controller. Third one is controller. Application development process will be divided into three parts, three modules. Let's say three teams. Okay. One part is module, another part is view, and third part is controller. Now Satya or anybody, Kranti can explain what is MVC design pattern. What is MVC design pattern? Kranti or Satya, anybody can answer. I was just now explain. Yes.
Application development will be splitting into three modules.
One is module, second one is view, another one is controller.
Controller.
Request and advice to all the students, use one running notes. When you are listening the class, use pen and paper. Main points you put on paper. Anyhow, will provide the material, but it will have a lot of interactivity and connectivity to your mind. Now we have to understand what is model. What is the role of model? Sorry, what is the role of model? Right. What is the role of model? Let's understand. Model is responsible for database related logic. Model is responsible for, Satya, tell me what is model? Model is responsible for database related logic. In MVC application, model will communicate with the database. Model will communicate with the database. Model will communicate with the database and returns the results to controller. Somewhere noise is coming. Just try to mute all of you guys. Right. Model responsible for database related logic. The role of the model is it will communicate the database, and whatever results are giving the database returns to the controller. Model will communicate the database and will return the results to the controller. And here also I explained very clearly that point here. Model sends the result status to controller after processing the database operation. In ASP.NET MVC, third point, in ASP.NET MVC, models are developed. Models are developed by using, you can develop model by using what? By using ADO.NET or link or entity framework. That is the story about model. Finally, we understood that model represents the data access logic, which is helping us to communicate the database. That whatever results it's coming from the database, that resulted data, it will return to the controller. This model in .NET you can develop with the help of data access technologies called ADO.NET or link or entity framework. Next topic is what is the role of view? What is the role of view? We have to understand. View is responsible for presentation related logic or UI logic. Means view represents the UI. View is nothing but UI, nothing but your web page. View will get the data from the controller and will prepare and display the output. View will get the, see means what here understand, model will get the data from database. That data it will return to the controller. Controller will give to the view. View will display to the user. Finally, you can be called as a web page. Okay, in ASP.NET MVC, views are developing by using following technologies. While you are developing views, you will use the following. Number one, at the time of view development, you can use HTML. You have to use HTML. That is nothing but hypertext markup language like markup tags. You will use CSS, that is called cascading style sheet. That is called cascading style sheet. We will use and we will use JavaScript. We can use AngularJS. We can use C#. JavaScript, AngularJS, and C# we will use to write the logic. For JavaScript and AngularJS is the client-side scripting languages. C# is the server-side scripting language. HTML is for what? Appearance of the web page and markup coding, and CS is for style appearance. We'll use CSS. Okay, so here you need to have client-side scripting means either JavaScript or AngularJS. Server-side scripting means C#, and markup tags compulsory you should use HTML. HTML plus JavaScript or AngularJS plus C# we required. CSS is optional, but default we'll use. And third one is, what is the role of controller? What is the role of controller? What is the role of controller in MVC? Okay, so here what we can say, controller is responsible for application execution logic. Controller is responsible for application and execution logic. Okay, so the role of the controller is, it will contain the execution logic. Execution logic means a request will come to the controller from the user. That request it will process. The request it will forward to either view or model. So finally you can say controller is acting as a mediator between model and view. How? We will see. Means exactly here we can say that every request will be received by controller. In MVC, every request will be received by controller. All the time of processing request, controller will communicate with model or view in order to process the request. Here it's a very important point to understand. All the time of processing the request is received by the controller. Controller will communicate either model or view in order to process the request. For example, you are giving a request to get login page. For example, gmail.com is developed by using ASP.NET MVC to take as example. www.gmail.com. Now Satya, tell me, the request will go to the controller, but what is the request of yours? www.gmail.com is, what is your request? You're requesting for which page? Login page. Login page. Is that login page, to generate login page, any database accessibility is required? No. That's why when controller will receive this request, controller will understand this request is just displaying a view. That's why it will forward the request to view. Babu view, I require the particular login page. Then view will return the login page to the controller. Controller will display the supplied login page to the user with the help of browser. If the request is, after you got login page, you entered username, you entered password, you click login button. Again request will come to the controller, will get the controller. Now what controller will do? You have entered user ID, you entered password, you click login button. This request controller has to forward to view or model. Model. Reason here, this request is required to communicate to database, because whether your user ID password is stored in the database, it has to verify if you are a valid user or not. Due to that reason, what it will do, controller will forward that request to model. Model will forward that credentials to database. Database will say yes boss is a valid user, or else no boss is an invalid user. It will say yes or no. That yes will return as a 1, no will return as a 0 to the controller. When controller will get a message called yes, then whenever your user ID and password is valid, what controller has to do, it should supply the next page called inbox page. That's the reason. Then it will tell to the Babu view, you need to display inbox. Then immediately view will supply the inbox page. that inbox page will get by the controller will display in the browser. For example, you are giving no means invalid user. Then controller will tell to the view, Babu view, we need to get an output called invalid user in your login page, error message. Then view will say same, it will supply the login page with error message called invalid user that will take by the controller will give to the browser. This is going to be happen here. Finally, we can understand that controller is acting as a mediator between the model and view. Model and view. That's why people will call it represents the execution logic. That's why it's called controller. Okay, it's controlling total requests are processing by the controller. That's why it's called controller. Next, in ASP.NET MVC, controllers are developed. Model is developed with the help of ADO.NET and controllers are developed by using C#.NET. Views are developed with the help of HTML, JavaScript and C#. Right. So when you are writing controller here, you will write pure C# logic. You doesn't require ADO.NET knowledge. You doesn't require HTML, JavaScript knowledge. The like what you can say, who are having more logical skills or programming skills will be worked in controller. So the student who are working in controller should have the lot of logical and programming skills. Here I am explaining the role of controller, view and model with the help of a diagram. With the help of a diagram, you can observe the guys this diagram. Request is received by the controller. Based on the request, it will process to the view or model. If the request doesn't require to communicate the database, then request controller will forward to the view. View will prepare the output. That output it will supply to the controller. Controller will give that output as a response to the browser. Browser will display to the user. Next, I hope you are clear here. Yes. Now again I am explaining. Are you understanding all of you? Yes. Here what is this? 1 minute. Yeah. What I am telling you? Yes. Controller. Let me explain very clearly. Controller will get the request from the user. Controller will forward the request to the view, which is not interacting with database. We will supply that output. Output will give to the controller. Controller will give to the user. If the request has to communicate database, then controller will forward that request to model. Model will communicate the database, and model will communicate the database. And what will happen? Whenever after it's communicating the database and the results it will get, model will supply that result to the controller, and controller with that result again it will give to the view, because the result should be the web page. View will prepare that output and will supply to the controller. Controller will give to the response to the user. Right. This is the diagram of MVC. Generally, whenever you are attending interview, the interviewer's basic level explanation is explain about MVC architecture diagram, how MVC will work and how the MVC application will execute or will work. Then you can explain that MVC application development process will be divided into 3 parts. One part is controller, one part is view, another part is model. Duty of the controller is processing the request and response, and the duty of the view will be displaying the outputs, and duty of the model which will communicate the database. So, and after that you can explain that with the help of this diagram with pen and paper, then it will be so effective to the interviewer. Okay, that's about. And next, technologies that we are using in MVC design pattern. MVC design pattern is using various technologies. We are into Microsoft, but there are so many technologies following the MVC design pattern. And a .NET person is using MVC in ASP.NET, that is called ASP.NET MVC. A Java person is using MVC in Spring, that is called Spring MVC, and Struts, that is called Struts MVC, and Ruby on Rails MVC, PHP MVC, iPhone OS MVC. So these are all the technologies are using MVC design pattern. So .NET person is using MVC in ASP.NET, that is called ASP.NET MVC. And next, in the next session, we are going to entering into, till today we are had a small introduction about MVC. Tomorrow we are going to have introduction to, we are entering into our actual subject, that is called ASP.NET MVC. What is ASP.NET MVC? History and versions of ASP.NET MVC. Slowly we'll enter into next topic called ASP.NET MVC tomorrow. So whatever it is, today we had a discussion, just we are understood what is MVC, nothing else. It is an introduction to MVC. Today we discuss syllabus and introduction to MVC, and tomorrow we are going to entering into ASP.NET MVC. Finally, if you want to understand about MVC, if what is the today's conclusion about MVC, what are the things we covered, what is come on, anybody can respond, what is MVC main, and we understood that what is MVC design pattern main, and we understood that what is the role of model. Next, what is the role of controller? What is the role of model, controller, view? What is the role of model? What is the role of controller? What is the role of view? After that, understanding MVC diagram. This we covered today. So, right, let's have a small question and answer session at the end. It's going to be close in 5 minutes. Guys, anybody can answer for these questions? You can answer. What is MVC? Today discussion, conclusion. What is MVC? Yeah, Varun, simple. What is MVC?
Yeah.
I think you are from the
MVC is
the beginning of the session, or you joined in between?
yeah, means I'm from the beginning. MVC is has 3 modules. It has model, view, and controller.
Yeah,
It is
whenever
design.
let me explain. Varun, are you from which place?
Hyderabad.
Hyderabad. So you have already .NET knowledge.
Yeah.
Are you working in .NET?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Whenever the people will ask what is MVC, instead of telling like that, simply you tell it's a design pattern. It is a design pattern. Then when the people will ask how you will implement MVC design pattern or what is MVC design pattern, then you can say that MVC design pattern, in MVC design pattern, application development process will be divided into 3 parts. What are the 3 parts, Varun? Model,
View and controller. Model, view,
Very
and controller.
2 questions answered like this. What is MVC? MVC is a design pattern. MVC stands for model, view, control. It is a design pattern which we will use to develop applications. What is MVC design pattern, or how you will implement MVC design pattern? That means in MVC design pattern, application development process will be divided into 3 parts. They are model, view, and controller. Next question is, what is the role of model? Anybody can answer. What is the role of model? Come on.
Model is written a result which will give supplies to the controller.
Yeah, simply you can say model represents the data access logic. As a trainer, I'll explain 10 lines, but you don't require to explain 10 lines. You have to catch the actual line, because I should give where my every question, like how Girdhar is responding in chat, remaining all guys who are unable to talk also can respond through chat. Interaction will be very effective. Doesn't require voice interaction. You can go with chat answer. What is the role of model? There are 16 students are attending. Immediately you can say that model is this. You can respond through chat. One person can respond voice. Remaining 16 people can respond through what? Chat. It will be better for you. Simple. Model is the responsible for data access logic. How you are implementing model in MVC, in .NET MVC with the help of ADO.NET. Next, what is the question? What is the role of controller? What is the role of controller? Yes. Come on. What is the role of controller? Right. Controller will represent the execution logic. It will process the request and response. Okay, it will accept the request. Request it will process to either view or a model based on the request, and based on the response, whatever it will get, it will give to the browser. And how to develop controller? By using purely C# logic. And what is the role of view, guys? What is the role of view? View will be representing the UI logic. UI. It represents UI, nothing but output, nothing but web page. Are you clear? Nothing but web page appearance. Whatever output you are expecting, that will display by view. And view you can develop with the help of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, AngularJS, and C# logic. And understanding MVC diagram, already we draw the diagram. So request is coming to the controller, controller to view or model, model to database, database to model, model to controller. So we have seen already diagram just now. This is the diagram of MVC, right? Diagram of MVC, right? Very useful. Whatever material I am giving to you all is like Chandamama's story, no doubt about that. See, till the time, this is my first online MVC batch I am starting. I was last 2 years, I was not giving any online classes. I worked 2 years online classes. I trained around 500 students in abroad, majority of them from US, few people from Australia and Canada. Out of 500, approximate 400 people are placed in different companies by putting 5 years, 8 years. And after that, last 2 years, I was not giving a single online session. That time I was teaching only .NET. I didn't teach MVC. That time I was last 2 years I was developing my company, that is Reddy IT School. I was in development process. I was established this platform like online training platform. We worked with different technologies, but I worked as a just entrepreneur till that time, last 2 years. But I'm telling you, 2 years I was in trainings. I was given classes. I was working for classes. .NET, only .NET I taught. Okay. After that, 2 years, last 2 years, I was developed my company, online training company, giving different courses like you can say Python, Java, and yes, testing, data science, and so on. Around 50 trainers are with us for different platforms. And now I felt myself, yes, that is okay. And we are providing supports for USA to employees, and proxy support also we are providing. And now again I thought to start online trainings. So today I started my online training, MVC training first batch.